Okay, I'm live. So today, I just want to talk about how you should go out and vote. I voted today and I felt a lot better putting in my vote. So, my one concern was that would I be able to vote? You can go to voter.org and or just type in Google voter status and then put in your information, and then it will let you know if you can vote. Now, if you have voted but never changed your address, you have a new ID, a new address on your ID, then you should still be able to vote. And when you go in there, they're going to have you fill out a form that you can change your residence for your voter registration or for your voter form right then and there, and you should still be able to vote. You can also, today, they're going to be allowing people to vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you haven't gone to vote, you still have time. Just Google areas near you, and a map should pop up, and then you can pinpoint which one you want. There should be a variety of different places. I went to a church location, and that's where I voted. Um, I did make a couple of mistakes when I was there, so don't feel embarrassed about not knowing exactly what to do and how to do it. So there's like a little printer at the one that I went to. Everybody has like a little printer at their station, but it looks like it's going to come out this way, but the paper comes out this way. And so I was pushing for it to come out this way, and it got jammed. And so I had to do it again. They had to keep the paper, make a record of the error. It did show like some of the people that I voted for, and they're going to void that out because the guy hadn't let the lady know early on that she could just reprint it. So she accidentally just voided it altogether. And then I had to do another code where I basically do everything over again, which was fine because I was able to go over names that were for the specific people that I was voting for, and it's not that bad. I saw other people were starting to walk in. That's actually a whole nother experience that I can get into more detail, but right now I'm not using that for a video. Um, what I want to talk about is, so I was leaving comments on people's channels based on them giving their views. And I gave a couple of views, and I want to go ahead and give you one of the views that I gave on one of the channels. If people want to know more about why I voted the way that I voted, now we can probably go on for days about why. But and I, if you know me, you watch my channel, you know a little bit about why I make some of the decisions that I make. So the first thing that I wrote on there was, because this is a sensitive topic, a lot of people like to talk about, the black and white thing. They believe that Kamala is somewhat black. My thing about that is I feel like she's more India than she is anything else. And I feel like if that was really true, I'm not saying that it is or isn't, why didn't she use like her father as a person to come on stage and talk and show us who he is? Instead, she showed a variety of other men that weren't really her father. I mean, if that was her father, I feel like wherever he was in the world, he would have came and traveled and been there on stage for her. Hopefully, it's not the whole he doesn't support marijuana situation that kept him from her. I would find that hard to believe. But also to be a Jamaican person and not support something that's medicinal, whether you agree with it or not. There's people that value that the medicinal properties of that God-given thing that grows on their land. So we're not. This isn't even about that, and I wouldn't fall for the I'm going to make marijuana legal type thing if I were you, because there's places you can go already where it is. You can travel there, you can live there, or whatnot. So basically, because of the slavery thing, I mentioned the Indian slave trade. Now, I want to like break that down because a lot of people don't understand when I say Indian. I'm not talking about Native American. I'm talking about from India, like the India Ocean. You know what I'm saying? Like close to China, where um, Indian people are, or like not like the Oyo Indian, the other Indians. They call themselves Indians also, which I've always found to be kind of confusing. So, but I'm specifically talking about people from India, and there was like a India slave trade, which was one of the largest slave trades there was. I feel like that's important to mention, and that more slaves died in that slave trade than anywhere else. I know that people are always talking about like white people this and white people that. Well, at this point, I don't know, you got to specify more what you mean by white people, Indian people, native or from India, like Kamala. Um, so I think that people don't really know all their history, and I thought it was interesting to hear, a lot of the artists voice their views. I felt like that it was kind of outdated, and it was not a reflection of something that would they were genuinely feeling. Maybe it was something that some people told them from a long time ago, maybe older men, and I just kind of wanted something more new. I wanted to hear something more new to them. I mean, new from them than the typical thing that you would hear maybe a relative of yours tell you that's older and maybe only did as much research as we were taught in, I don't know, middle school or high school. So after that, I would like to also say that now the information that I got about the slave trade near the India Ocean, um, I got that information from people that are from the land over there, YouTubers that were speaking about things that Black people didn't know about themselves. You only know as much as what people teach you. So the next thing is for if Kamala wins, if Trump wins, but right now I'm going to talk about if Kamala wins. This was my concern about her. Groceries have gone up. A lot of things have gone up that people aren't talking about. A lot of people are talking about personal things about each person. Donald Trump is like this. Kamala is like that. Trump did this. Kamala did that. At the end of the day, this is not like that type of thing. It's more like what you're going to need in your life for the next 4 years, your kids, your future, your job, the economy as a whole. It's not going to matter too much like all the extra personal stuff that people are getting into. So right now, I mean to an extent, but not like the extent we're talking about. We're talking about the world right now, not these people all the way person. It's not going to be like a personality thing to the extent where you just forget about the world. If we have a president like that, we're going to be in a lot of trouble because then it's going to be all about them and not about the world. So these are the things that I was concerned about. One, Black people not really knowing all of the history that they should know. But two, if Kamala wins, I said prepare for more road construction because I feel like if you allow the gates to be open, then that means you're going to need more road, right? And that's going to take time out of your day. Like, let's actually do the math. You're going to have to wake up a little bit earlier because the traffic is going to take up more of your time. The traffic's going to take up more of your time in the morning, and it's also going to take up more of your time in the afternoon, especially if you work between certain hours. So essentially, I would need to add at least an hour and a half to my day of not getting sleep, of needing to come home and take a shower, of waking up early, of needing to cook and make dinner. That's going to be about an hour and a half. In my mind, this is what I see, an hour and a half more that I have to put in right now. I feel like I'm already putting in 2 hours just to wake up early, get ready for work. The traffic is horrible. Um, a lot of times, like I said, at certain times, just driving back, it's, a 15-minute drive can turn into 45 minutes. So if you bring more people, like how much more is it going to be? So then the next thing I also said was, well, then also the gas expenses can go up. And you're gonna be wasting more gas, right? If you're just like sitting there, you're spending more time. Travel takes longer because of the congestion on the road, and then building new roads now because I guess there's new money, and also in that type of way to build roads. And then the thing about building new roads is it seems like every time they build a new lane, that lane gets built up. I mean, that lane gets filled immediately. It's not like, oh, there's more room. It'll be okay. It's like, dang, there's more room, but it got filled up quickly. So it's like there's not more room at all. Like, no more room was made, but for more people to congest the roads. So I also believe that possibly lower food quality will be an issue because when you talk about, a lot of people like to rave about and go on about, oh, you bring these people over. I don't mean to say it like that, but you bring people over and they're going to work for lower wages. I don't believe that's how it works. I believe that somehow you're going to lose trying to play that game. People who come over and say they're going to work for lower wages to get a job are going to possibly and more than likely create a decrease in quality because nobody's going to work that hard when you're not paying them that much, especially if they know that you just gave them a job because they're going to work for a lower pay. That means lower quality too. Yeah, I'm not doing that because they only pay me so much. And also, it could cause a bad type of disruption within the food industry because people could actually start retaliating. I know these are like, you know oh, you're paranoid, but no, you really have to think on the shadow side of things as well because people do that. People live on their shadow side too, and so you have to face that reality as well. Like they could even retaliate for the fact that, one, this isn't their land like it would be your land if you're a person in that type of situation. And they, like I said, nobody's working for a lower wage and going to give you better quality. Lower wage, that's what people are asking. Lower wage, people who work for cheaper are going to give you better quality. Where? And if someone's working for cheaper and going to give you better quality, eventually they're going to want a promotion. Eventually they're going to want more money. Eventually they're going to want something. That's just like being realistic. You're not going to slave a bunch of people and then work very hard for you. This is 2024, and people come to America to live the American dream and to try to get rich over here. That's what they want. So if they are going to say, hey, I'm going to work for a cheaper price, we'll see how long that lasts. And we'll also check in on your quality of foods and how people are preparing it and how it's being taken care of. Now, if those fruits look real good and that meat smells good back there in that deli all the time, and the store's hygiene is up to par, and you can have people working for minimum and lower than minimum wage, then I guess congratulations for you. I just don't think it works that way. I think it's just simply something people do or say to get the job. Also, less job opportunities for people who are in America, especially people who speak the English language and that's their only language. Everybody did not go to school to learn two languages. Now, there's other type of languages that give Americans an advantage, but people don't necessarily see it that way sometimes. The language of business, the language of communicating with people in a certain type of way, the American way, the art of getting along with others. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can call a language, right? But now, when you speak another language, such as, let's say, Spanish, or that's going to lessen your job opportunity if you don't speak that other language. Because think about it, if they're bringing in more people who speak Spanish and more people who speak these other languages, those people are ultimately going to be going to stores, especially the discount stores. And that, I don't mean that in a bad way, because I love discount stores. And those people are going to need people who can match their language. Therefore, that's going to take you out of the picture, regardless if you have, a lot of times, if you have the skills over a Spanish speaking person, they may give that opportunity to the Spanish speaking person because most of the customers are now Spanish. So now you have somebody who is very skilled, that speaks Spanish and speaks the language of business and understanding and all this great stuff. But because they don't speak Spanish, someone who doesn't have any of those skills or a lot less skills is going to get that management job over you. And that's kind of a problem, a big problem for American people who deserve and worked hard and want to get promoted in their land and have even gotten degrees for it, and have to see other people get above them because they speak another language, and have to see other people really feed off of their skills and their intellect because you're there, you're around them, and kind of take that from you and build themselves up with what you have while you're still at the bottom. That's a concern of mine because that's a very real thing, and I've experienced it a lot. Um, Also, this is when you think about voting and presidential things, it's also about the land. History has always been about land, right? I think that's one thing that people forget about, is that it's also about land. Now, that's more of like a war thing, but you also have to not pretend that that doesn't exist. So the more people who come over, you essentially can get overthrown by foreigners. And I don't mean that in a bad way to say foreigners, because people are sensitive. You always have to clear up the way you talk because people will get easily offended. So, foreigners, good or bad, can essentially, now I'm really talking more about the bad ones though, can essentially take over your land. And now it's not really an American land anymore. We don't know their situation. We don't know what everybody's been through. We don't know, you know what I'm saying, the criminal rate over there to over here. So, and then like getting even overthrown by just getting overthrown and overpowered by people from another place because you're outnumbered. Just as simple as that. So now it's not like to say, oh, we don't welcome foreigners. It's just to kind of make sure there's a decent type of balance in that. I'm trying to figure out what the word is for that. There's provision, like there's enough to get things done right, but not like not too much or not too little of things for things to get done properly or in a good way, in a healthy way, basically. So I still feel like land is it's kind of one of those quiet secret things that's kind of hidden in the back, and nobody wants to really talk about that. And I think a lot of people really try to overly emphasize the, oh, bringing people over grows the economy. Does it really grow the economy? You have to use your own critical thinking skills. How is it growing the economy? How long is it going to grow the economy? Is it growing the economy? Bringing people who would possibly work for lower wages. Like I said, that's versus the quality that they would give for working lower wages. There's, it's just like more people are actually wanting to sit down. More people are wanting to get breaks. More people are wanting to do this. More people are wanting to do that. And now you're going to get somebody who you're going to pay a lower wage to try to push and pull all that weight. It's not going to work. Actually, the way the work structure works is a little bit already flawed, and they need people to actually balance out what's going on already. And a lot of those people who have been not promoted that should be promoted are some of those people who have those skills and that intellect, and they're not going to give that away completely for free. They're not going to do that either. So there's a lot of things that need to be adjusted already that aren't adjusted because some of these people who can generate ideas and generate more income are being put and forced to stay at a lower level when they should actually be, moving up and, helping. That helps the economy. When the right people are in the right position, that helps grow the economy more than anything, because now you have those top thinkers, you have those people who generate the ideas, you have the people who know how to distribute things in a certain type of way where not only are they able to have, but other people are able to have as well, and no one's getting unfairly cheated or treated in a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? It's levels because people grow, people get older, things change. There's first you have to just believe that there's a specific type of order how things should go, and you have to know how to arrange that properly. And sometimes it varies. It's a mixture of things, and you have to see how to put those pieces in the right place at the right time in order for it to help grow the economy. And it's not just about bringing more people. You can grow the economy how it is. It's not about, oh, this person, because what, let's just imagine that someone speaks another language, but they're not um, they don't have a positive vibe, because the best example I can give is if they're not positive, if they not have a positive vibe, if they get all these positions but they don't have a positive vibe, they don't have the type of American etiquette that would be acceptable. And I'm not saying that people who come over here don't, but sometimes that is an issue, and it can actually set things back a lot more than it can help propel things forward. And so these are some of the things that, I personally think of when I'm making decisions. I make decisions in my mind. So also, it's just like um, when you talk about equality, I hear a lot of people talking about equality, this, equality, that, kumbaya, all this and that. Yeah, I'm a person of love. I love love. I love people, but I've also learned that, like I said, you have to have the proper provision, and you have to be set and steady, and you have to have the leaders that can keep things, like I said, in the way that it should be. When we're talking about equality, um, you have to ask yourself, the dinner plate that I have, am I willing to split that with somebody else at this point? Am I willing to give one fourth of my plate to another person? Now I know that we shouldn't think in lack, but you also have to think logically and be reasonable as well, and kind of understand what actually is happening and what actually could be happening, what actually could happen. So it's like I feel like, well, anytime you're asking for equality, you're asking to spread things out. And I feel like people only think that the rich people are what's going to spread everything out and make everything even. And I'm not sure. What if you have to be a part of that too? You have to be a part of the increase in the cost of groceries. You have to be part of, we're going to add an extra fee to help the other people that are coming over. Now you're going to have to give out of that too. And why wouldn't you when you're the one who is fighting for massive equality, which just happens to mean, more people and helping more people. That means you also have to be willing to take out of the little pocket you have too, if you just have a little pocket. What people are asking of me is unreasonable to get just rich people. And then I always question, like, well, is it actually fair? What if there's a person that doesn't make as much, but also they are just like a lazy person. They don't want to work. They don't want to treat customers good. They don't want to treat people right. Do they deserve as much as a person who does make a lot of money, who has excellent customer service, who trains and molds people to be excellent and to also have good customer service and to become the leaders of tomorrow? Does that person deserve the same thing as that person just because of equality? Just because most people are talking about financial equality. Do you deserve the same thing? Everybody has to take the test. Does the teacher sit down and say, I want everybody to make an A to the point where I'm going to force it? I'm going to start pretending that everybody got an A. No, you want everybody to get an A, but you have to perform and you have to do certain things to get that. You don't just get that, you earn that. And when you can prove that you've done that with a portfolio or with your work skills, then you essentially have earned that and you deserve that. So, like I said, I myself have experienced inequality in my mind. And the reason why I feel like I could say that I feel it is because I have always worked hard at everything I do. And I've also been the type of person who, because of certain situations that I've been through, try to say that I will do the thing that someone else won't do or will not do so that I can get positive things now. Like, oh, this worker doesn't want to, we need more workers to stay at night. Okay, I'll do that because I need a job. I want the job. Oh, we need this person. We need somebody who will do this. Okay, well, I'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to just lie. I'm not just going to throw it. I feel like my situation depends on that which I said that I would do and that I would do it well. Some people, they will say that and then they won't show up like they should. They won't perform like they should. They just did whatever to get whatever. And then maybe they'll even start doing things that are karmic and malicious to stay around. Who knows? But I have seen it. So my thing is to just think more about yourself and what you need. Actually, think about how it would change the world. I think a lot of people are like, for Black women, I am supposed to pick someone who has a dark skin color and because she's a female. And I'm like, well, I kind of think of things like a business decision. And also, I go off of people's personality and my insight and intuition and how I feel about a person. So it's not going to be just to my physical benefit, which some people may say, oh, well, it's going to benefit you because it's going to open the door for me. I mean, it's going to open the door for you. Well, that's not necessarily how I feel. I feel that if I'm a good person, if I do what I'm supposed to do, if I work hard and navigate, figure out how to get way up there, really work hard, and be honest and legit about it in a righteous way, then I'm going to have that opportunity and chance anyway. It's not about just like, you can be this way, that way. It doesn't matter how you be, just get up there. And because we need somebody to open the door, because, that's just not, that's not how you pick things. That's not how you choose things. That's not right for me. But I get that point that people are trying to make about opening the doors. My point is anybody can open the door if you're a good person and if you try right and you're legit and you do think that's the best way to open a door. To try to be a good person. Be a good person. Don't use people. See, because then you have people who will use you. I mean, like we can talk about Mindy. What was that show called? The Office. Kamala showed up on that show, right? And Mindy's brother, I think she's from India too. I'm not sure, but Mindy's brother, didn't he get caught for trying to pretend that he was black? Kamala was on a little episode or something, not episode, but she was, I don't know, cooking. They did a little thing together with she did a little thing together with Mindy. And yeah, Mindy's brother got caught trying to pretend that he was black, supposedly to get into college. My thing is, why would you need to pretend to be black to get into college? Why wasn't your intellect good enough? Why you couldn't just be you? I don't see why it would have been hard for him to get into college just being himself. Now, if that person was trying to do some type of fraudulence and use black benefits and to acquire black benefits to get in, then that's something else. That's fraudulence. That's wrong. You can't collect. If they say, "Oh, everybody that's African American, you get a certain amount of money for participating in this," and you go pretend that you're black, that's not right. If you want to get into that school, I don't see how pretending something is gonna help you. I think you're better off just going as who you are. But everybody feels different, so uh, and for some people, that's where I was going with that. They're there with you for the cause. So, meaning, I'm trying to show my shirt too. So, meaning, like, I'm there. I'm by my concern with Kamala is this that, and I don't want to find out if I just feel like I've seen enough to feel a certain type of way. I feel as though this person uses people, and if I'm wrong, okay, I'm just going by what. So, using people, I'm just going to say using people for a certain cause and then dropping them off when you're done. I don't feel like is appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm going to use you. Hey, girl, I'm going to use you. And then when I get to where I get to, I don't need you no more. You didn't help me. Oh, you didn't help me. And I've seen this in documentaries where people have done this to people before. They use you, you help them fight the fight, and then they drop you off. And when people say, "Oh, hey, remember me?" Oh, no, I don't know you. I don't have time. Oh, I'm really busy. You're not important anymore. It was just for the cause. And there's a word for it. I don't remember which one it was, but there was someone who did a sermon about it. Comrades and constituents and confidants. So, and one is a person that just uses you kind of because I'm not gonna say that you do, but some people that's exactly what it is. You have the same cause, and when it's over, bye. I don't know you. Kind of that's how I feel about it. So I think you just have to really think about why you're making the decision that you want. Like, is it extremely personal or is it universal? because there's a big difference. Me saying this is about me being a black woman. This is about me being a black woman and about being a female, or this is about me being a Hispanic woman and a female. This is about me being just a woman. This is about me being a white woman and a female, or a white this or a white this, a black man, a black blah 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 blah. Or is it about what I can do for the world on another level? How what I can contribute is going to make a difference. Because I'm sorry, when you're talking about the world, it doesn't, to me, all that other stuff doesn't matter like that. And to use that to make it why you should get something, I don't think is necessarily right. Like, because I could just be there to open the door and then I just want to use all the money, or I want to abuse the power, or, but I open the door for y'all, so, and now I'm up in here. I mean, if, to me, that's a little ghetto, but if that's how people do things, that's how some people do things, and you can't change how people think. And I'm just telling you what I feel and how I see things. And like I said, I don't think Donald Trump hides who he is. He's had the show The Apprentice, and I watched that show faithfully. I love that show. It's different. And, I'm not going to be all like political because I'm just who I am also. And, like, if you look at some of the shows that we have as Black women, I don't, I don't really see it as progressive as it should be. I don't really see, and for the women, there are certain ages. They know certain people, and it kind of makes me wonder, well, why haven't? Is all the drama? Is all the I want to create this enemy list and go after my enemies? Is that what's stopping me? I need to be better than her. I need to know what she's doing so I can copy this and copy that and do like that. Is that what's blocking you from success? Because people have a lot to say about Donald Trump, and also people act like you don't learn from things that you've been through. Look, you either are starting and you're about to learn a lot of stuff, or you've already been there and you know certain things that you should do and you shouldn't do. You only can, more than likely, if you're an evolving person, you're only going to learn more and become better based on your experience. I don't think you're going to get worse unless you're just a karmic person and you don't intend on things getting better and you have an alternative or ulterior motive. You should be able to list things that you've done. You should be able to show the proof on paper. You should be able to organize that. I mean, that's like basic, college ability at a certain point. Maybe not everybody's, the organizing type of person. Maybe not everybody can make a list and organize their thoughts and show their goals and their accomplishments. But I would think that if you've gotten to a certain level, you should be able to do that, especially if you pride yourself on being the first this, being the first that. You know what I'm saying? You seem like the type of person that would have come up with a goal or come up with all the things that you have done, all the things that have been accomplished. And with Kamala and Biden's situation, I didn't really see that as much. Also, another thing that I noticed with Kamala going at Trump is I felt like what she was saying about Trump is actually what she was doing. Like she was like saying, well, Trump is going to go in there and just start making a list of enemies. When I get in there, I'm going to start immediately making goals and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. She watched Trump, and that's exactly what Trump was doing. He was saying what he was going to do when he gets in office. He was saying the first day, I'm going to do this. He was, speaking on an executive level. And I feel like she kind of just stuck with abortion. She tried to use big things to try to keep herself, you know, to make that, to persuade you off of just this one thing. Now, about abortion, it's like, I feel like, I feel like what would have helped, I literally was like, we need to put a plan A and a plan B at the cash register. So, I mean, apparently women, and I'm not trying to be rude or apparently women need to have a plan A. I guess that's the morning one. I don't know. And a plan B, I'm not sure. At home, like in your purse. Like it's like a little stash with whatever else you keep when you do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a big deal. And I think that this has also showed me how people need to bond more on a communicative level. If you're being with somebody, I understand people like to have fun and have these one night stands and stuff, but maybe it's calling people to bond a little bit more on a more serious level and talk about what they want and what they don't want. For people who don't want to have babies and don't want to have kids and there should be specific groups. Hell, people are out here starting covens and they got sororities and they got this and they got that. Maybe there needs to be a group of people who know, hey, we don't want babies, we don't have babies, and y'all just need to interact with each other like that. And then the people who do want babies, you really need to start being with people that you want to be with. You need to really start being with people that you want to be with, and also growing the economy. So about that, so you're going to bring a lot of people over here and they're going to help possibly make the economy, have the economy booming, or you're going to have babies. Americans are going to have babies. The ultimate point sounds like more people is going to help the economy somehow. So that would mean that that kind of cancels out people hating on Donald Trump and the abortion thing, because essentially you need more American babies to, fulfill keeping your American land. So it kind of balances itself out. To me, it's not one greater than the other when it comes to that part. And I mean, I actually think Donald Trump is kind of on the leaning side of what makes sense for me. So yeah, you can also grow the economy by Americans having more babies. And maybe there's a concept behind that. You either gonna have other people's babies come over here, or you Americans are gonna start making some babies. Whose land is it anyway? I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, if you really start using those critical thinking skills, like, it is on another level, though, isn't it? But when people just try to get you wrapped in race and gender, it makes you forget about land and your personal economics at home, your grocery, the price of rent. Everything has gone up. Also, the criminal rate. People say Donald Trump is such a bad person, but what his plan did also was bring down the criminal rate. Safety is first. Safety is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's one of the first things that people need in order to start establishing and building themselves is safety. So making sure that you're safe, making sure that the criminal rate is down so that you won't have to worry about who's trying to break in your house at night and who's trying to put drugs in your food and whatever else people do. Um, that's essential to your growth and development. And that being at um, being flooded with unsafety at a quick rate is detrimental. So I think that Donald Trump's mission is about safety. It's not about racism. It's not about your color or your gender like that. It's a more stable way of thinking. It's about safety. When you go home, you want your kids to be safe. You want your wife to be safe. You want everybody in the household to be safe. You want to sleep decent. You don't want to be wondering who's outside trying to steal people's catalytic converters and whatnot. So I think that people just need to think deeper on a deeper level. And also, my other concern about Kamala is that, like, I see how she really used the music industry to, well, I have concerns on a more personal level, but I'm just going to try to keep it basic here. Um, she kind of used the music industry to get this and get that. Now, it's interesting how many connections. Well, I'm saying I think there's a lot of artists that are actually starving right now. And so, because of other unseen and untalked about things, but it's kind of interesting how I'm not going to say it's that interesting because like if you need money and you would get paid to do that, or just publicity, you need everybody. That's what the paparazzi's for. That's what creating these certain situations are for. So these artists can get seen and they can make their money. Most people like Beyonce aren't trying to go work at McDonald's after they become a star and stuff like that. So it would be very hard for her to go somewhere and somebody would be her manager or something like that. I mean, could you imagine how she would get possibly treated? It's either good or it's either bad. But it's just a kind of an awkward situation. Also, let's talk about I'm kind of just going over and touching different stuff that kind of pops up in my head. Let's talk about the Obama situation. Now, I heard Obama because I tuned into a couple of lives. I heard Obama. I'm not going to go all the way into the stuff that I could say because, I mean, this ain't the confession booth. But I heard Obama say um, something about a person selling watches and selling shoes. He said that was awkward. Now, I'm not sure who he was talking about, but selling is the basis of so many things in America. So to essentially kind of talk down on anybody who's a salesperson, I don't, and they're doing something positive and legit. Selling something is not just selling something. Oh, you're selling a watch. You're selling, shoes. Oh, that's awkward. It's also branding. It's a skill. People love fashion. I mean, that's never going to go away. Sorry. But if people aren't selling services or selling physical products, what are they doing? So I'm like, there's not much room left for anything that's positive. I mean, I don't know where that was going, but I don't think you should talk about the salesperson in America. As long as they're minding their business and they're doing legit legal things, then let them sell. So, yeah, so I was talking about the abortion thing. I feel like, you know, I can't tell you whether that's right or wrong because in the beginning of the Bible, God said that He saw this child and it was wicked. Okay, that's in the beginning, somewhere in the beginning. I saw it. And now also, you should not waste your seed. That's in there too. So I kind of think it just depends on the circumstance and situation, and altogether, there's a need of being able to see what's right and what's wrong. How you see it, why you see it that way, what are the times, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? What do we need and why do we need it? And stay in this positive mindset. So, like I said, I can't really say. if that's right or wrong. Actually, we kind of went over something like that in one of my college courses. Um, I think it was called like ethics and morals. It was a psychology class, and it was based on ethics and morals, and that was kind of one of the topics that we talked about. And I want to tell you the interesting thing. Oh, it's hot in here because we're going to turn on the AC. I want to tell you the interesting thing about the abortion thing. Now, when I was in college and I was taking that class, personality, ethics and morals, or something like that, it was an ethics and morals was in the title of the class, and it was a psychology class. And I do remember my teacher's name. It starts with a P. So the question of abortion came up, and so how many people voted for abortion in my class was actually none. I was actually the only person that was kind of debating it. However, over time, like I said, the times, my views have changed. That's why you had to ask people, do you still feel the same? And this and that. So now, nobody, this was probably like a class of 15, black, we had black, white. Um, Now, this was a community college. Nobody voted for having abortions. I was shocked because I just thought, and you know what the reason was? The reasons were mainly it boiled down to the kid could be famous. I was like, okay, well, what if this woman, well, trust me, I will go through everything to try to see how I can get my answer to be right. And I went through all those things, and everybody voted against the abortion. And it was because the kid could be famous. I didn't know that fame held such a banner. Their main thing was no abortions because the kid could be famous. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Later on, I'll discuss the things that I was saying to fight against them. But like I said, the whole class went along with no abortions. And it really kind of changed my perspective. Almost makes me want to kind of cry right now. It really changed my perspective, but I think the way that I was seeing things made a good, very strong point too. But like I said, I'm going to talk about that maybe later when I start talking about some things that went on in my class. I thought that was interesting. Wow. So, like I said, it really just depends. Now, I'm not sure how this works. If you can go to other states and other states can rule out abortion or not, based on what the president. But I'm like, you can't always have that option to go to another state. Now, maybe traveling is a thing, but maybe that's something people should start considering. Maybe you need to go travel or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just time for people to start. But then you have the people who are more free spirited. And look, this is the thing about abortion. Also, it's all about the woman's body, right? That's what a lot of people say. It's her right, it's her body, blah, 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 blah. Good, got it. But check this out. What if a woman doesn't want an abortion? What if the guy does some little trickery or whatever, who knows? And now she has to get an abortion. What if a part of her body was, I don't ever want to get an abortion? That's her right to not want to get an abortion and do what she wants to do with her body. But if a guy pokes a hole in there, or slips something out, does something real criminal and slick. That's how I'm gonna call it. Now she's still in that same position where it's her body, and she's not able to do what she wants with her body because someone then played a little game that wasn't too friendly. So she has to get an abortion. She can't do what she wanted to do with her body because she didn't want to ever have to get an abortion. I think that's an interesting point too. You got the one who wants the freedom to always have an abortion, and then you have the one who wants it to be the right decision at the right time and doesn't want anybody to put her in a position to where she has to have an abortion because that's not what she wants to do with her body. She doesn't want to put her body through abortion surgery or whatever they call it. That's her not being able to do what she wants to do with her body. No one talks about how guys can put holes in condoms and how they can slip the condom off when you're in the middle of doing something. No one talks about that. They only talk about, if I accidentally get a girl pregnant, can she get an abortion? She needs that right for her body. She needs to be able to make the choice if she wants to get an abortion or not. What about making the choice of you never putting me in a situation where I have to get an abortion? So I think at the end of the day, it kind of just boils down to people who already have a mutual agreement and a mutual understanding of what they want, and they need to stick to their word about what they're going to do. I mean, it's almost getting down to the point where it feels like people have to sign contracts just to be with each other. And it's like, is it that serious? Like, I think the communication game needs to really step up, and people need to be who they say they are and be what they're talking about. And then the thing is that you have people who change their mind for this and that. So I think that I understand overall like what people are facing, what people are going through, some of the things that people are thinking, the decisions that people have to be made. But in some type of way, it kind of all balances out and leads back to who it's not just really those topics as much as you would like to believe they are. And I feel like that's actually an illusion that it's about this and it's about this one and it's about that one. I think that people try to get you kind of tangled in those things when really you're looking for the best leader to make this a better situation, a more stable situation for you, for your kids, for your family, for your future, for your money, for your career, for your everything that you want for your business. You need someone who's economical. You need someone who can make decisions. You need someone who knows how to put a pause on things when it's too much. You need somebody who has insight and who can lead, and it's not just going to um, go by what somebody else is doing or need to wait on somebody else's answer. Because what type of thing do you have going on if you can't really see? That means to me you might be focused on something else. So I don't know. And you need somebody. The thing also that concerns me about Kamala is the freedom thing. It's like, we kind of been living over here for a long time. Well, I have all my life. And I don't necessarily feel like freedom is like a problem because I'm not really a slave. And a lot of people come from other places because they feel that America is more of a free place. So if people come to America feeling that it's more of a free place, what freedom are we fighting for? That kind of loses me. It's like I feel like you are taking me back because you're reminding me of something that I honestly wasn't really thinking about because I didn't feel like that's what I was experiencing. I wasn't experiencing feeling a lack of, you know, freedom in like a slavery sense, but she kind of makes me feel that way the way she talks about it. And so that's kind of scary to me because it's like if she became the president, I would not want to have to hear her talk about every issue. We're fighting for freedom, guys. I know, I understand. We're in this together. We've been through harder things and we're going to get through this. We're fighting for freedom, guys. And it's like, is everything going to be we're fighting for freedom? To me, that's taking me back to a slavery mindset, which I wasn't born into slavery. So that would just be taking me somewhere I don't want to freaking go. So I'm like, I feel like that's really trying to tap into some old thing that doesn't really exist like that. Like what's the real point? And if you got up there where you are, is it really that much of a lack of freedom going on? I mean, even if you just got somewhere near there, like I don't think that I just don't feel like it's about freedom. And maybe I'm missing something. I just don't feel like that's what it's about. I feel like that's something to appeal to black people. Just like it'll work. Like you wasn't even a slave, and all they gotta talk to you about is freedom. Like I don't understand where the freedom thing really coming from. So that kind of annoys me. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's like I just feel taken back already. And then it's funny how it's like we don't want to go back, but she's talking about freedom. It's like in my mind, it's like she is taking me back because I ain't fighting for freedom like that. What type of freedom we fighting for? We ain't got no chains on us. Now she's talking about taking guns away. I need my constitutional right. And you know, a lot of my channels about being gang stalked. I need my constitutional rights. Everybody's not going through the same thing. And I get it, like with the weapon thing, she's like, well, nobody needs, and I've heard Biden say it before too. Nobody needs these big weapons and these, I get the overall concept. Nobody should need that, and it sucks, but people might need that, and there are reasons for that, and those things can save your life. It's about really, are we grown enough to handle things appropriately in the right way, right? There's people that have lived with these type of weapons and have not abused them in a mass way and or just abuse them because it's like, oh, in a mass way, we're gonna which way did they do it? So what I'm basically saying is, let me give you an example. If there is a gang around the corner, let's say they know you're a strong person. They know they can't take you down by yourself, or one can't take you down by themselves. So they bring three or four or five guys. Who's to say that type of artillery doesn't save your life? Yes, I can go to the gun store and get one of those things that has one bullet. And what if I miss that one shot? I can get the one that has just a couple of bullets in it that's gonna, but if they're running around and I miss all those, then does my life have to be taken because I didn't have better artillery? If seven people run in your house, three, four, five guys, you might need better artillery because you got three, four, five guns that could be pointed at you, and you're trying to load one at a time, or you're trying to, get the one at a time. They running this way, one running that way, one running this way. So I get that too. I get the overall picture, but really, it's just about people making the right decisions. And it's about making the world a safe place. That's why I hear Donald Trump say, make America great again. And to me, you know what it translates to? It translates to make America safe again. That's what I hear. I'm not going back to 1920, 1960, 18 this, 1820, whatever's going on. Because I know some people, excuse me, are like some of the rappers were going way far back. Like, when was America great again? I think I heard T.I. say that. Like, when women weren't able to vote. Like, okay, we have gone way past that now. Women can vote, women can have executive positions, women, a lot of women are running a lot of these jobs right now. And I don't see they're kicking the men out. They're running these places so good. Some of them are kicking the men out. And, some people, some places are just majority men, and some are just majority women. That it just depends on what it is. But some of these places, so I don't know. I think you just need to be aware of more things and what's going on and how it's going on, and just try to see more than one thing. And yeah, it's like I don't understand why he would talk about something that's so long ago. I like T.I.'s music. It's just like, when was America great? But ain't you making all that money in America with them songs and you're able to be an artist? There was a time where black people weren't able to do that. They weren't able to use their skills and talents and go get them a mansion and have kids and do stuff like that how they want to do it. There's places, I'm not really a good history person, but where people, I think I heard of a place where people are still getting abused. I don't know about this place, but the word how do you spell it? I think it's YEMEN. I'm not really sure. But like places where people are still getting abused, they're literally coming to America for freedom. But for our people now to be saying, "Oh, what freedom? We ain't got no freedom." I don't know. Maybe you should visit some of those places. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but I'm just saying so we can see the actual freedom that we do have. I don't need to see it because I don't want to, but I think that we still need to respect Americans though, and value Americans too, and not try to just make this a black and white thing or a female and male thing, and really look at it as how can we have the right person that's going to make the world a better place, and someone who's going to be able to balance situations appropriately and provide the proper provision for the proper situations. Because when you bring over more people, you're going to need way more things. Is this person capable and ready for this type of thing? That almost takes a bigger play. Now, I know people have been working on the healthcare thing, but I hope the goal isn't for everybody to just get sick and die. I know we have Obamacare, we have the Harris system. I'm not sure where the name comes from. Maybe that's Harris County. But I just feel like there's a need for more balance. And so I listen to the person that I feel like will provide that structure, that balance. And like, okay, so if it was all about the abortion thing, which I don't think that that's a good point, um, what after that? Now, what fight are we fighting? Because there's so much more. There's so much more. So it's really like after you get off those subjects that you use to win or lose. Now, what are you actually? I don't know about the lose part, but what are you actually going to do when you're in there? I'm listening to the person who said they were going to do that. No, who actually was doing that, saying this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do, and they didn't need to wait on anybody to tell them or show them or give them an example. These people have been in high places They know how to talk. They know how to present themselves. They should, you know what I'm saying? They have some experience here, and to be able to. Kamala's a lawyer, or she was a lawyer. Some people say that she wasn't that great, but this person should. A lawyer seems like someone who would be very organized and very transparent. Someone who could, and I feel like actually that's kind of more how Donald Trump presents himself. So I kind of feel like I'm not seeing it all here. Like when it comes to Kamala. So it's like you present your case. You have like these bullet points. You say this, you did this, blah 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 blah. Blah. It feels like you would have that kind of. I took debate class, so I don't know. I just don't feel that type of structure. And for someone who's so into saying what they did and what they do and how they're this and how they're that, I was shocked to actually not really see that type of visual bulletproof, that type of visual bullet points that we would need, or list of organization of things that have been done and this and that from her. And I feel like Trump and Vance were able to hit those points in a much better way. I feel like Kamala wants to appeal more to your pathos, like more about the emotional things, what's going to grab you emotionally. When also we need information though. We need facts. We're not just going to be sitting around crying all day, or everything's not emotions, but emotions do mean a lot. You need the person with emotions and action, and not just talk about the emotions and what how we're suffering and why we're suffering, and we'll get through it. You need somebody who's gonna like push us through it. See this, this is what we're working on, this is where we're going. I just feel like he's more of an action person. Now, the person I live with voted for Kamala. And I asked this person, why did you vote for her? And he said, it's all about the abortion, baby. And so I got to thinking and I said, wow, so you pretty much voted for her. You're a man and you want to talk about women's rights. So that's when I got to doing my critical thinking, and I came up with what I told y'all previously, just talking about it's a double way thing. There's women who are fighting for their right by not having an abortion, and they have to deal with men who pop the condom, or, well, I'm not gonna say a man pops the condom, but put holes in the condom, slip the condom off, and while a woman's all in her emotions or feelings, or young or not paying attention, like at the last minute what's going on. Like, I mean, I don't know. Things happen, and they do. Um, that's not within her right to get an abortion, but now she would have to. So I think that that's the critical thinking part that some people don't tune into or think about. That's still about a woman's right. So, like I said, to me, it kind of just balances out. It goes back to communicating with who you're with and dealing with the actual situations that you may be going through, and finding out ways to, partner with people who are more like you and who are actually stick to their word, and are honest, reliable people. And I went on much longer than what I wanted to, but I wanted to show up in my Donald Trump short. I was gonna say shorts. In my Donald Trump shirt, because I saw all these celebrities supporting Kamala. We did get Elon Musk, and I just wanted to. I really don't know what an endorsement is, but if I could, I would endorse Donald Trump. So I had to wear my Trump shirt. This represents the endorsing of the. I don't know if I'm a big enough person to do all that, but yeah. So I think that means you give them a lot of money. I would if I could. So and you support them, and you have good reasons, legit reasons why you support them. And I think if I was to sit down and create that type of list, it will be a good list. And besides that, I just really like Donald Trump. I like his style. He's a fierce person. He's strong. He's funny. He gives you his personality. It doesn't feel like he's hiding much. I feel like the way that he is how similarly he would probably be in his office with you. Actually, I'm kind of interested to know how he would be in his office because of how transparent he kind of really is in front of people too. Like I kind of just want to see like what does he do? How does he run it? What is he just like the apprentice? Like it was like we got a nice view on him and what he does and when it comes to that aspect of business and how he really pushed people. You know, he really showed a lot of people different things by creating that show. People could say it's for whatever personal reasons and this and that, but a lot of people learned and they were pushed to good, healthy limits of seeing things about themselves and seeing things about other people and in a business aspect. The businesses help run the economy. Business is everything. So I feel like when people say, "Oh, he's just a business mind. He doesn't know how to run the world," but the world is ran off of business. So I'm always like, what does that mean? I also feel like he's a protecting type of person, and with a good team, he and standing alone. I also feel like he's someone who's been through so much because like I feel like he's gotten a lot of persecution. And to get a lot of persecution and be a good person or somebody who really wants good for people and to still be standing and strong, I feel like that takes a really interesting. It's made up of really interesting attributes that go deeper than what you can see on the outside. So I'm not gonna ramble anymore. It's 4:13. My real point here was you can still vote if your address is not the same, but you are. So you can go to voters.org and put in like your past address. It may say, oh, you know, not with the address you have, but if you voted with the past address, put that past address in there and then see if that will allow you to pop up in the system as a registered voter. Because I put the address that I live in and that I live at now on my ID, and it didn't show. It said there's nothing found in the system. So my friend was telling me, oh well, maybe you know the address that we used to live at. So I put that address in because the last time I voted, I did vote. I voted for Trump, and yeah, so that one popped up. So yeah, who is hot up in here? I can't even hardly think because it's so hot. So also that from 7 to 7. So you have about 3 hours if you haven't tried yet. I would, especially if you want to vote for Trump, please go, put it on the record that you're a Republican for Trump, the apprentice man, the businessman, the grow the economy man, the make America safe again man. Yes. And I saw this shirt on Amazon and I said, oh, that is so cute. And I had to get it. So that's basically it. It's the whole shirt, and I have on my little black shorts to match it, so it looks really cute to me. And I just wanted to encourage you guys to vote and to be critical thinkers. Critical thinking is not just a word, that's actually a class that you take in college before you start your business courses. So it's not just a word that I'm throwing around because it sounds good or put your thinking cap on. It's actually a class that you take in college, and it does what it's supposed to do, help you to critically think outside the box. And, if you're already a critical thinker, you're going to go more into depth. I feel like I'm a critical thinker, not just because I've had to be in survival mode a lot and because I'm a creative person, but I just like to question things. I'm a why kid. I want to know why. I want to know how. I want to know those type of things. So also, I think that it would help in your development into feeling like I'm not gonna say more prominent, but feeling your presence as a member of society to really do that. I feel like it makes you feel better. You put in your vote, you put in your thought, you put in what you wanted to do, or who you wanted to run. I feel like it does make a difference, not just for the people that you're voting for, but for you as a person. It's like adulting. Go adulting. Go put in your vote. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. That wasn't my point to offend anybody. I'm just speaking from how I feel, and I hope the best for this. I'm really nervous. I don't know what I'm gonna do in either situation right now. I'm just like I don't know. I'm not gonna say in either situation, but this feels like World War III. So anyway, I'm like, should I make a video? Because like, oh well, your opinion could make people upset. Blah, blah, blah. Well, people will be upset anyway. It doesn't matter. And like I said, I saw all those celebrities up there with Kamala. I'm like, hey, I better get up there and tell these people who I like and who I support. And so, and by the way, I have a Trump magnet that I haven't really been able to put on my car, but I did get one of those. I've already had that, and this shirt I've worn to a couple of places, so I've been trying to do my part. I'm like, I'll just go for it. So I hope you go for it too, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye.